Dear reader, there is a human, a type that knows too much about music, that seems to hang on every thread, shit on every word, wish on every golden star, holds some profound hatred within their soul to the very idea that someone can sit in their car stuck in traffic after a long day's work and think, hold on, let me put on that new Benson Boone. You hate that person. They think they're better than you, smarter than you. They probably watch Fantano or check rate your music charts. Their dad is definitely rich. That type of person is real, and I am one of them. My dad is not rich. I find rate your music to be boring. I'd rather watch Instagram reels, and I haven't watched a Fantano review since I was 16. I love to love. I love to hate. I am a musician. I make whatever the fuck I want to. I like weird noises and hate structure. That's why my songs with choruses suck. I'm also a fraud and a two-bit liar with no talent. I'm talking about the pretentious human being. We are all aware that we are doomed to be ate and spat out into office buildings. You go on the dart and everyone's on that damn phone. Our eyes will be squares and the hares and jackrabbits will come to rule the roost, frying eggs on a tin-cut can. With swords in their eyes. With egg timer bombs in their hearts. I am pretentious, because I love to pretend. I love to pretend that there is something worth selling in capitalism. To come to terms with the world I was shoved into, I listen attentively and snicker selfishly at the thought of someone ironically enjoying Imagine Dragons. Imagine dragging these thoughts across 5 football pitches worth of thought. I will be honest, I often sit up at night talking to myself about Metal Gear Solid. Who else is going to listen to me talk about Metal Gear Solid? No one in the right mind. I love to love. I also love to pretend. Art is pretending. Artists are actors in Team U television. Socrates was a liar. Marx was a drunk. None of those Shakespeare stories had any relation to any events that have ever happened or ever will happen. That's okay. That's what I'm getting at, dear reader. All art is perfect. All art sells. In the age of personification, art fucking sells. I haven't seen a dime. I need not tell you who has. I believe that we need to pretend together so we can see our pennies. Artists coincide with one another. Artists consume media just as you do. It all culminates in the generation of ideas. I may be pretentious, but at least I can recognize that. I like pop music. We need a coming together. A recognition of art as the end-all and be-all. To recognize that even the man who sits in the office all day is an artist. That even Benson Boone going on stage and doing his silly flip is art just as much so as Joyce's Ulysses. If we are to have a coming together.
The Race by T.K. versus Coming Together by Frederick Ruski. The Attica prison riot took place at the state prison in Attica, New York. It started on September 9, 1971 with a violent takeover of the prison control center in which one prison officer, William Quinn, was killed, and ended on September 13th with the highest number of fatalities in the history of United States prison uprisings. Of the 43 men who died, all but one guard and 3 inmates were killed by law enforcement gunfire when the state retook control of the prison on the final day of the uprising. That's what Wikipedia says. Richard Nixon and the Rockefellers are to blame here, of course. Before the events of said riot, an inmate wrote a letter, a series of letters really. A man who would be shot and murdered on September 13, 1971. A Sam Melville. According to Wikipedia, Sam left his job as an architect after being asked to design buildings in apartheid South Africa. He later went on to bomb United Fruit Company and Standard Oil, as well as others, in a series of bombings which happened late at night and were often preceded by phone call warnings to any staff remaining inside the building. He was also becoming increasingly involved with the Black Panther movement. So yeah, he was promptly arrested. He wrote a series of letters during his time in prison. A great American composer, Frederick Ruski, took the text from one of his letters from May 16, 1971, and adapted it for spoken word for his piece Coming Together.
I think the combination of age and the greater coming together is responsible for the speed of the passing time. It's 6 months now, and I can tell you truthfully few periods in my life have passed so quickly. I am in excellent physical and emotional health. There are doubtless subtle surprises ahead, but I feel secure and ready. As lovers will contrast their emotions in times of crisis, so am I dealing with my environment. In the indifferent brutality, incessant noise, the experimental chemistry of food, the ravings of lost hysterical men, I can act with clarity and meaning. I am deliberate, sometimes even calculating, seldom employing histrionics except as a test of the reactions of others. I read much, exercise, talked to guards and inmates, feeling for the inevitable direction of my life.
The piece which results is 18 minutes and 22 seconds of explosive reactions to thoughts and feelings. Even without knowing the text's contexts, the music and words flow in tandem, creating clarity through fog. Each sound, broken beat and shift in dynamic range is a moment which you hope to grasp. It is color, a rainbow in your heart, a realization you cannot have. The type of piece any real artist would die to create. It is perfect. However, that is pretend. I showed it to my girlfriend and she did not like it. She said it sounds like a bunch of noises stuck together. My palate has simply been ruined by watching too many Instagram reels and too much show. That is why I contend that The Race by Tay-K is just as good if not better than Coming Together. In doing so, I hope to break the walls between the pretentious and the people with better things to be doing. I hope you know the story behind this piece. To quickly surmise, a tamer Trayvon McIntyre recorded and released the song on SoundCloud after escaping a house arrest due to murder charges. Hence the refrain of "fuck a beat, I was trying to beat a case, but I ain't beat that case, be asterisk 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 H, I did the race." Tay-K's vocal performance is harsh and determined. The instrumental is bass-heavy with dirty synth keys that purse the eardrums. The lead synth melody particularly stands out, holding some darkness in its patterns and quality of sound. The drums pound and beat at your mind, forcing movement of the head, movement of the sense of nothing. It is like an old Johnny Cash song about some outlaw in the old world. Except this is not a fantasy tale. Tay-K actually did the race. That is not impressive or a coolie, as we say. It is abhorrent. It is the result of a dangerous, manipulative system. A young man left with no choice but to do the wrong thing. Or perhaps that is wrong too. So why listen to what a violent human has to say? Just because Tay-K created the race? Just because Melville had a grasp on poetic nuance? What does that say about art? If a murderer can even for a moment be a great artist, what does that say about art? It says the art doesn't matter. It says the art is all we have left, and most importantly, it says the art is real and it is coming for all of us. So enjoy art today and let Mark sober up, lest the hare and jackrabbits come to roost and the fat man roasts them all. Yours truly, Milk.